Thanks for joining. We'll be getting started in just a minute. Thank you for joining. We'll be getting started in just one more minute. All right, thank you for joining us today for a webinar about point of interest data quality. I'm Ariel and I lead B2B marketing here at Foursquare. At Foursquare, we care deeply about data quality, but getting geospatial data right is hard. We invest tremendous resources in making our data useful for customers to address their different business needs. We are the industry's leading experts in geospatial data, and we're deeply committed to continuing to improve our data quality over time. But data quality can mean different things to different people. And so today we're excited to talk you through some of the nuances and considerations that you should keep in mind when it comes to point of interest data quality. So now I'll hand it over to our team to dive in. Thanks for being here, and please feel free to drop any questions in the chat throughout our session, and we'll leave a few minutes for questions at the end. Thank you.
Hey everybody, I'm Aaron Acosta, and I'm joined here with Zizis Petru, who is our data science expert and focused on all of our POA data. They'll be our brain for all the talking points today. I'll be your moderator. So with that, let's get into slide 3. So we just did our quick round of introductions, but later on we'll be getting into the ramifications of low quality data and why it matters for your business. We'll also dive into how we quantify this POI data quality. And as Ariel had mentioned, at the end of this, we'll have time for Q&A. Feel free to drop in any questions at any point. We'll get them, but at the end, we'll have time for you. So building the leading cloud-based location platform. Foursquare is the leading location technology platform for places and movement. And as you're all aware, today we're here to talk about data quality. And data quality is at the center of everything we do at Foursquare. With our Places product, we give location-driven business decisions on consumer experiences, and these are all based on having accurate geospatial data at scale. For our Studio product, it's a geospatial analysis or visualization platform, and that product is really only as good as the data that's being used to feed it and power it. For attribution, measurement depends on a true understanding of the places and the people's movement between those places. Our audience and proximity, it's really about reaching the right person at the right moments, and yeah, that's what's going to drive your business results. And then lastly, for our movement SDK, it's building engaging contextual experiences that rely on the right understanding of the user's real world behavior. So next slide. Okay, so the high cost of low quality data. Stepping back, we know that data quality and accuracy matter to you because of its effect on your bottom line, but bad data can also cost you money, as instead of just stopping you from generating money. Bad data results in a tons of things like bad business decisions, wasted resources, and just lower quality customer experiences. In addition to that, we also have like the churn rate, bad engagement, and just lost market share. But these are some things to really be aware of when you're going to take that data and make your business decisions based off that. Oh, sorry. All right. And with geospatial data in particular, we know that data quality is the top barrier preventing companies from utilizing location intelligence to its full potential. In customer and prospect consultations, we often hear about these data quality struggles. Things like cleaning and transforming their POI, geocoding data, and what I think is the most important is just maintaining an up-to-date and fresh data set. Geographical data is notoriously difficult and requires tons of resources to get it to a point where the customer can actually extract value from that data. An example of this, like I said, is maintaining up-to-date and fresh data. The world's always changing, and we really make it a priority to make sure we're on top of these changing trends in our world. Ultimately, the company's ability to extract value from location intelligence comes from their ability to join it with other data sets and get actionable insights. And that's why we try to make it as easy to append location data to other data types. An example being like store ID or a few other things that we have within our data set. So from here, I'll pass it over to Azizas.
Thanks, Aaron. So Aaron touched already on the surface of the challenges that that we have on the Places product on defining and establishing a high quality for the clients and for the users of the apps. So I'll try to give you a little more insights on how we see quality at Foursquare and how we try to quantify. Quality is not defined on a single metric. We track a variety of metrics and try to be as thorough as possible. And we identify that the problem of defining quality is a multidimensional problem. So I will try to walk you through on these different dimensions as we think of them and what kind of metrics we track on those dimensions and what attributes also we expose to our products so that clients and users can also keep track on them.
Oh, sorry, I am having technical
Next slide.
Sorry, are you guys still seeing the, okay. Sorry about that.
Yep, there you go. So the first one, and one of the most important parts of the quality, the way that we decide the Places product, is around coverage. And by coverage, we essentially mean the breadth of the data points. Or another way to think about it is how many of the places that exist in the real world we have in our database. We have continuous reality checks against ground truth sources to make sure that we represent top chains and top companies and brands on different categories across the spectrum in order to ensure that we have as much representation in our dataset as possible. The fact here is that Foursquare has over 120 million places globally across 200 different countries and territories. We get information from different sources. We get information from crawling web sources. We get information from trusted partners that share structured and not so structured data, and we get information our users of the mobile apps and the APIs that we have. So with all these variety of informations, we may have overlap of the data, and we also want to make best use of them. So one of the main points that one of the main attributes that we keep track of is a venue reality score. It's a score that we assign to places based on how much we believe that this place is actually a POI that exists in the world versus places that are created by users in a wrong way, or that are crawled in a bad manner, or places that should be qualified as private for the users of the apps, and they should be excluded from products that we share with enterprise clients. A major metrics that we track also in this category has to do with the coverage by different chains, and Foursquare at that point has 100% chain coverage of the top 100 retailers with brick and mortar presence and the top 50 quick service restaurant brands. So we keep track and we keep improving on different chains and with different categories that we identify as interested for clients. Next slide, please, Aaron. So while the coverage refers to the breadth of data that we have, the completeness is another dimension that we track that depends to the depth of the data attributes. Foursquare Places as a product has a large number of more than 115 attributes that we share for a place in the world. Depending on the category, this may be fewer, this may be larger, but these rich attributes pretty much give a great visibility of what the place is, its functionality, and the use to its users. So we try to keep track of these fill rates and improve over time. Some examples include that we track the completeness of these attributes per country. We track the completeness per chain for different chains. And we track the completeness of these attributes per category. As an example, for quick service restaurants, that we try to include as more information as possible to make the user experience as better as possible when having this information.
Next slide.
Yes, please. So having all these rich attributes, we keep a track on a separate direction. We has to be how accurate these attributes have. Filling rates are not a good indication if these attributes that we assign to places are not correct. So we thoroughly run external quality audits, which is essentially sources of truth, of ground truth, and the way that we evaluate our third-party sources as well as the user sources, and try to come up with a confidence of how correct we believe the attributes that we share in our deliveries are. As a start of how thoroughly some process can be, we receive from only from first party users of the apps, we receive about 500,000 place updates per month. Updates that keep our data correct. If something changes on the attributes of the data, or if users notice that something is wrong, they send us an update to correct that. And this goes on top of other quality processes that we run as well at Foursquare. A key attribute here that we measure is confidence of the correctness of a place. As we said before, a place can come from a variety of sources that contribute to its final attributes. So we have algorithms that merge this information, do the entity resolution, and do the merging of the information so that we come up with the best representation of each attribute per place. So given the confidence that we have on the places that corroborate on the final attribute value, plus inputs that do not agree with this value, we assign a score of confidence on how correct we believe this attribute is. And this confidence is also penalized by a factor of the date that this information was available to us. In order for us to keep a track of data freshness, which is something that I'll also mention separately in a while. But places that haven't been refreshed for a while, the confidence of those is penalized. So we try to use this as an indicator to keep the places also as fresh and correct as possible. Next slide, please, Sarah. So talking about freshness, another dimension that we track is relevancy. Relevancy is how quickly we update the place's information, how quickly we get signals from the real world and update the place's product that we have in our database, and how we convey this information to the client so that they know that this place has been refreshed recently. We monitor the actual opening and closing days of POIs, and we have attributes that reflect these dates. We measure the dates when attributes also were last verified or updated, as we talked previously with the attributes, and we try to recheck and revisit those places as often as possible. As an indication, only from users, the updates that we are getting from the users of the mobile apps and the API users update the attributes, one or more of the attributes of over 30 million places just in a single month. Some of the attributes that we track on that, as I mentioned, are the date that a place is created and enter our database, the date that a place has recently been refreshed, or the date that we recently got an input from a place. Even if there is no change, only the fact that we got an updated input is enough to show us that we are keeping track of the progress of the place and any changes that they are there. We also additionally monitor the date that a place is marked as closed in our database. And on top of that, we have an in-house predictive algorithm to predict the probability that the place has been permanently closed. It takes into account several signals as trends on check-ins, on visibility, on visitation of the POI, and other signals that we are getting from the different sources. It is updated as often as on a weekly basis, so that users of the place's product can track whether a place has suddenly got higher probability of being closed if we notice some negative trends on check-ins, or if it's still open. We share this information on 5 different buckets that can also be used for filtering places depending on the needs of different clients on whether they prefer high precision of places being open or high recall of places that there have some signals of being open or closed, but they still want to expose to their clients. Next slide, please. Another dimension has to do with context. We talked about having rich attributes that refer to the place, but these are mostly static information that refer to the POI or the business. In addition to that, we get signals from mostly from users and partners on dimensions different than the ones that we expose in that provide richer context and provide more information on that can enhance user experience of visitors of those places. So we collect also photos for places, we collect reviews from users and tips. And as a measure so far, we have more than 1 billion of these metadata or different dimensions of products that we also share with clients. Some example of attributes is the total number of photos that we collect for different places that can share another insight of how the place looks, and total number of tips and reviews that we collect for each particular place. Another dimension that's getting more and more important as we move and as we improve the product is compatibility. In a space, in an era where information matters and different clients, different users have their own piece of information that they want to join and enrich with the information that we have here at Foursquare, we try to make it as easy as possible to be compatible with other data sets that exist there. Foursquare invented hex tiles, which is a proprietary tiling system that enables universal geospatial joinability, where it is based on geospatial library on H3 that helps join locally and spatially different data sets that have location information. Other attributes that we track and that we constantly enhance is providing census block IDs, which are unique identifiers of geo-IDs of a census block based on location. They are available for the United States. And we are also continuously increasing the database of store IDs, which are the unique IDs that are assigned to a venue by their own business and the chain, and they help people monitor and join with data from transaction data, for example, and other data sets that they may have available. That's all for me. Back to you, Aaron.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Sorry about that. Yep. So the most trusted location technology. We're trusted by thousands of leading global brands. We deliver the utmost data quality. As you can see, some of the biggest names in tech and thousands of leading global brands trust us and rely on our POI data. And they choose us because we're an industry leader with accurate POI data that works at scale. Let's see. So unlocking the power of places. Now we're just going to open it up to questions, and we have 2 lined up already, but if you have any questions at all, please feel free to drop them in the question section and we'll be happy to answer those. So let's see what they are. Jesus, I believe these first 2 are for you. What role does your first party users play in data quality?
Oh, they play a very important role. They help us to keep the context, as we say, as rich as possible. We get photos, we get reviews from first-party users. They also create new places so that they also help keeping the places database as fresh as possible. If a new place opens up in a neighborhood of a user of our apps or the API, they can quickly and easily create this place and let us know that this place exists. On a similar matter, if something changes on the place or if something is wrong on the place, like we are missing a phone number, some user may just add it easily and nicely on the app and help us also edit and correct misinformation that we have in place. We have a proprietary system also, apart from letting users suggest edits to places, to also have a wide and large super user community, which also pretty active on evaluating these suggested edits and voting essentially on whether to accept these edits or not. And we have different levels of this super user depending on their past activity and their engagement of the product. And it's great to see the commitment, the engagement, and also the freshness that they bring to the data. On a less obvious way, the check-ins that we get also from the users help us to analyze patterns that sometimes can reveal whether a place is moving from being open to being closed if these patterns of check-ins reduce, and vice versa. If we see several check-ins coming in a new place that we previously hadn't considered, we can assign a larger popularity and surface this place in our apps more for the user's better experience.
Okay. Another question is, how do you ensure strong coverage for POI that matter the most? And it's not possible to improve coverage across all categories and geographies at once?
Right. It is not easy to do all improvements at once. We take there an approach that is very client-centric. We get feedback from clients. We conduct reviews of the needs of customers, and we constantly prioritize the businesses, the chains, and the categories that we are focusing on. And then based on this information, we try to improve the ground truth that we have, or find new sources that can offer us more depth and visibility on areas or businesses, on localities in region even, or countries that that customers care about. So we constantly update on that. We update our sources based on the feedback that we get from customers, and reprioritize the efforts to provide the best product possible.
Cool. And sorry, is hex tiles compatible with H3?
Yes, hex tiles are based on H3. You can, if you're interested, you can find more information on our website. We have a couple of blogs talking about that, and if I'm not wrong, there should also be a couple of previous webinars that go into more details and thorough insights on the hex tiles.
Cool. I think that's all. Oh, just got another one coming in. If a client is interested in industrial POI, is this something Foursquare would be great at, or focusing more on consumer-based POI? You there?
I'm not sure I have the visibility on the product and client side to answer that, but I give my 2 cents, and maybe you can jump in, Aaron, and correct me if there is something there. It depends on the region. In some regions we have richer information on more consumer oriented businesses. In some other regions we may have better information on businesses, and also depends on the client needs that in many cases drive us forward on getting more updated resources. Traditionally, historically, let me say, Foursquare started with getting more rich information from users. So from third-party users of the apps, which are more inclined to provide information and updates on consumer, and for quick service restaurants, for example, is a big category where we get many and constant updates from third-party users. But the company in the latest years has progressed a lot. The input sources changed drastically, and we're getting more and more businesses there, and more concrete and robust information for businesses, retail stores, and any types of category and chain that people care about. We are far beyond the stage where the only source of information were user input, and we have a large number of collaborating partners and website sources that also provide information for a breadth of categories and chains. So it's hard to quantify which one is doing better. It depends on the region. It depends on the client request.
Okay, we have a few more questions. Do you utilize open data in your sources?
Most of the data are customary, that come from at least on as far as the places are concerned, and contractual. But we also take into account some open data that we can use there, and that help keeping the product as fresh, and also to increase the coverage as well. Such cases may include not necessarily exposing this data, but using them also to validate our approach to training the different models that we have, and update our workflows and predictions and the overall product.
Okay, and then how do you manage shapes of POI? Are you creating internally or using external sources?
The shapes, you said?
Yes, shapes.
Yeah, we do both. That's the short answer. We get information from data sources that we collaborate and that we trust, but we also have internal processes of editing the shapes that need to be editing, or if there are some updates, we also have in-house teams that work on quality assurance and on performing these edits and updates.
Cool. And then I think this may be the last question, but somebody's asking, when will the recording be made available? we should be sending this out to you after later today, probably. And I believe that's all our questions for now. So yeah, I guess if that's everything. Thank you all so much for taking the time to join us, and we hope you were able to extract some valuable information. If you guys have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me. My email is aacosta, that's AACOSTA at foursquare.com, and we'll be more than happy to get back to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.